Okay, so I think I'm live. Hi everyone, welcome to the session. Before I start off with this session, I let me just check the everything. Before I start off with this session, yeah, I think it's great. All right, so I'll directly take you to the agenda. This is the question type. It's a interesting LR puzzle, and I think it's a very fine time for us to actually discuss logical reasoning puzzles, because as we all know that as reading is important to create sort of a competency for your comprehension for the VRC section, solving puzzles every now and then can also help you with your logical reasoning, right? Because the CAT exam tests, I mean, it is a test of reasoning, so the only way through which you can improve reasoning is through solving a little bit of puzzle here and there. Sudoku and all is great, but actual puzzles, they're great. All right. So I am presenting you a very interesting, prisoner's hat puzzle. This is a very interesting puzzle. It is there in the public domain. Okay, if you want to like search for it, you will get many variants of this particular puzzle. What I am presenting you is a typical twisted version of it. So I'll read out and then we'll solve it together. Okay, you can pause at the moment. You can pause the video right now and you can try it on your own as well. So it says that 3 prisoners were arrested for a crime. When they begged for release, the warden made an offer. I have 5 caps, 2 blacks, 3 white. The 3 of you will stand on the stairs facing downward, see the figure below, with C in the front, A at the back. You will then be blindfolded and I shall place 1 cap on each one's head. Alright. The blindfolds will then be removed so that each of you can see the caps of the prisoners in front of you, but not your own. Each of you will then be asked the color of the cap of your own head, on your own head. If you are able to answer correctly, you will be released, but if your answer is wrong, you will be shot. Okay, interesting one. However, you have a choice not to answer and continue in the prison. You cannot communicate with each other, but you can listen to each other's answer. And then the warden started with A, who had the advantage of seeing the others. A replied that he could not answer. Then the warden asked B, who also replied that he was not able to answer. The warden then asked C, who thought for a while and answered. He was released promptly. What was C's answer and how was he able to deduce it? Okay, a very interesting deductive reasoning puzzle. So, okay, I will give you some time if you want to, perhaps if you're watching this on a recorded this thing, so you can pause the video right now and you can think about it. I don't think it will take you more than 5 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes to 5 minutes you will take to solve this kind of puzzles, provided you have a knack for solving these type of puzzles and you are constantly solving puzzles of this sort. Okay, so let's solve this one. So I'll create some space. I have to just remember 2 things. I have 2 black hats and at the same time I have 3 white hats. Now remember one thing for a fact, that the person A, he will not be able to, I mean his hat color he will not be able to see. He can see however B's and C's. So what are all the combination of colors that he can see? So I hope you can understand. I am typically right now trying to make cases. And why is it important? Because we are trying to solve it very scientifically, very methodically, so that we don't miss out on anything. So let us start off with the first case, which is a simple case. B and C. So the first case I can say black, black. The second case is white, white. The third case will be white and black, and the fourth case will be black and white. Okay, now if you are somebody who has been able to figure out thus far, I think your problem is already solved. Now understand this for a while. There are only 2 black hats and 3 white hats. Is that clear? Now if this A fellow sees black and black hat, instantly he can say my hat color is white, because there are only 2 black hats. He can say my hat color is white and he will be released. But he chose to keep silent. This one chose to keep silent. That can only mean that this is not the case. In which case, either he is seeing white, 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 black, black, white. Okay. And if you pay some attention now, if you make another column, if you make another row rather, if you make another row, you would realize that the only deterministic case for A would have been when both B and C were black. Others are non-deterministic cases. Otherwise, basically in other words, what I can say is that you cannot say for a fact what the color of the hat for this A fellow would be if any of these cases prevail. In that case, now I will move to B. Now see, there are 2 things happening here. B is seeing the color which is color of the hat which is in front of him, which is C, right? He can see C ka color, and at the same time he is aware of the fact that A is silent. Now I will start off with a very fine deduction, with a very interesting deduction. What if C, so at this point the only possibility for C is either C is black or white. And why is it that I suddenly jumped to C from B? It is not that I have jumped from B to C. It is that I am imagining myself as the person B and I am seeing the person C in front of me, and there are only 2 cases. C can be black and C can be white. Now think of this for a while. If C is black, B would have thought ki if I were also black, there are only 2 black hats. This fellow would have said ki bhaiya I am white, and he would have been saved. So for a fact I know that B is white. If and only if, I might add, if and only if C is black, that only means that C can be white. In other words, I can say a very interesting thing over here, that the deterministic case for C, if C is black, okay, let me use a different color. If C is black, and I'm only reiterating myself, I've already given you the logic, but I'm just reiterating myself so that anybody who has not been able to understand can fetch this idea. If C were black and if B were also black, the only possibility is white for A. A would have said, A did not say. If C were black, B would have, in a jiffy he would say that I am white, because if he were black, A would have said. But please understand, B is also silent. That can only mean that he is not seeing C as white. He is not seeing C as black. He is seeing C as white. In which case, if C is white, please look at this thing. If C is white, B still has 2 cases. He can be white, he can be black. He cannot say for a fact whether he is black or white. So there is an ambiguity over there. In other words, B ka case is not deterministic. B ka case is not deterministic. But C, I hope you have been able to understand that C is white. With this analogy, whatever happened, C has to be white. And this is the deduction that C will work around with. Had I been black, he would have said I'm white. So, you know, otherwise the two black theory will come into the place. So I am definitely white. So this is the thought process that C will have. Okay. Interesting one. I just, you know, took some time. But then, yeah, this was an interesting puzzle, an easy puzzle. Not an easy one, but a moderately easy one. Okay. Or a moderately difficult one also, you can say. That's it. Thank you, guys.